Thanks for joining me, Gemini. This is your reading for this, what is coming up, 23rd, 24th of July, full moon in gorgeous Aquarius. So we've got your shortened Celtic cross. I'm just kind of working with the lights changing on and off here very quickly, very changeable, very mercurial, you could say. Anyway, we've got a shortened Celtic cross here, and we will go through and clarify. So you come out today, Gemini, with the Ten of Wands. Now, the Ten of Wands is the end of a suit. It's basically you can't carry anymore, so you get rid of them. I mean, to put it in a nutshell, we're crossed by the universe, the world, which is an entire new cycle. So you really needed to, I mean, this is just what's going on here in this reading. The Ten of Wands is a great burden that needs to be shifted in order to move forward, to move on, and that seems to be exactly what you're doing here. So it's amazing, and I love this. I love this universe card. It is the world. So it's glorious. So we really do start. We're in this process of starting like a whole new chapter. Actually, even a whole new book of our lives, you know. So it's pretty amazing. The basis of this is the Queen of Cups. It's a really sort of it's a reading that is really heavily anchored by emotion here, which is not always often like that for Gemini readings. But I think there was an Ace of Cups, wasn't there, in the last reading? But this is very heavily sort of anchored and positioned by quite expansive emotional understanding. So we have the Queen of Cups at the basis of this reading, and the Queen of Cups, I mean, has this never-ending cup. It's easy flow. There's no kind of exhaustion from. I mean, this is like regeneration of, you know, being very buoyant emotionally, being very mature emotionally. There are many facets here as well. In some ways, I always see the Queen in the Thoth deck as having many facets, many different angled mirrors. That in itself is a form of protection, you know, when needed. Recent past. Just what's behind you, Gemini, is the card of art, which is temperance. It's divine timing. It's things in process, in the cosmic washing machine, as it were. Patience is required here. I think there has been quite a long time of, I mean, it feels like, you know, what is going on? What is happening in my life? And remember, these are very general readings. Where you are currently, we have the Empress. We will clarify. Beautiful fecund card, a creative card. The Empress holds all the possibilities of new life. The Sea of Binah, the tiny little microorganisms that are the beginnings of something very real, very tangible. It's a creative card. It's a nurturing card. So you see why I say it's kind of anchored with really sort of powerful love vibes here. And then moving forward, we have the Four of Wands. In some decks, it's the double 11s. Here, it's the happy home. It's a homecoming. It's where we feel safe. It is where we feel wanted, where we feel nurtured. So, excuse me, all in all, we're really in this process of having just entered this new portal. So it's quite big. It's quite a big deal. It's quite a big deal. Let's get some clarity for Gemini here, or clarify for Gemini. Can we just have a look at this Ten of Wands, the burden card? What was this? Anyway, it could be many and varied different things. Restriction of sorts. We have, firstly, the Emperor, you know, a benevolent figure in its highest polarity, but we have it with the Page. There's an oscillation here. I think there's this element here that you know, there's this sort of restrictive thing of wanting to break out of it, of actually understanding it as the Page and experimenting with it, but then it suddenly becomes a little bit too limiting. There's a need for growth here. It's as if the Emperor dampens this youthful Page, whose primary goal is to go out there and experiment and see, you know, the dynamics of power, how that is negotiated in the world between people, between groups. I do get that. Anyway, let's have a look at the world. The universe, please. This amazing new beginning. Well, it's certainly a new, it is like a new epoch, really. It's a time for, we're getting these pages, you know, there's messages somewhere in here, messages. We get another youthful character who's very experimental, wants to take risks, wants to break free a little bit. And it's about learning. It's about learning new things. Of course, Geminis always want to be picking up new information and learning new things and sharing those with other people. Maybe we're entering a new phase where we are freer to do that, possibly. Let's just have a look at Temperance. And this time, this, you know, what is happening for Gemini with Temperance here that is in the recent past. Wow. So as they fell out, Temperance, ascertaining, there's something about this, ascertaining boundaries. We get conflict. And it is necessary because it allows us to understand not only our boundaries but other people's. It could be an internal conflict with the Five of Wands, a conflict of spirit, a conflict of will. It's not like brutal. It's just a sort of like testing the waters, as it were. We then have the Queen of Cups again. Possibly there's something about your emotional maturity, being able to be objective too, I think, because more often than not you are. Of course, it's always more difficult to be objective about oneself. With the Queen of Cups, then Five of Wands, Queen of Cups, and then we get the Two of Cups, which is ultimately a choice. I think this is about energetics. I think it's about the way that people work with each other, personal power, being quite clear in the way that you express what you need, but also that you express what you want. And that it's not for anyone else to suppress that, and it's certainly good to understand how you limit yourself in that. This is just what I'm getting from Temperance. So that whole period of quiet, and it may well still be reverberating for you, this sort of feeling like things are suspended somehow in this alchemical mixing cooking pot. But let's just see. The Empress, please, for Gemini. The Empress, please, for Gemini. Yeah, we're I do think we've understood what possibly we need emotionally, creatively, emotionally, what feeds us, what really, truly nurtures and feeds us, Gemini. We get the card. It is a card of victory. The Six of Wands. There's quite a few wands in here. So we've understood this process by which we've sort of experienced the Temperance card, the Alchemy card. We've gained quite a lot out of that. We've gained quite a lot. Victory, the homecoming. It's a wonderful card. Certainly with the Empress, it kind of indicates that, if we can go within and express ourselves in a heart-based way, honestly, this is our great strength, Gemini. It seems kind of strange, doesn't it? But not that we don't do that, but it's a very loving, it's a very open, sort of emotionally based reading here. And it is directed at the self as much as anyone else. We had one little card pop out there. As I was saying that, we had the Nine of Wands, the Wounded Warrior. Maybe we've understood some of these old wounds that I think have been bubbling away underneath there for quite a long time. Certainly over the last few years, that's for sure. Let's have a look at, we don't need that level of defense, because what it does is limits us. Here we go. Self-limitation. Eight of Swords. Yes. Let's have a look at the Four. And we're the only ones that do that. We do it. There's no... When you cut everything down to the basics, we do it to ourselves. Yes, we have wounds. Yes, we can go back. We can deal with them. But they're not there to be blamed for our choices, I guess, ultimately. Okay, so we look at the Four of Wands. Wow. We get Four of Wands, yes. Queen in your own kingdom or king. Four of Wands, the happy home, central hearth, with the Queen of Pentacles, self-made. Yeah, look, there's an independence here. I think we're broken away from a lot of limitations currently, and that's allowing us to enter into a whole new cycle. This is a wonderful card of seeing the value in what you've created for yourself. And that's not necessarily things. It's they can be things internally or what you've surrounded yourself with. nevertheless, it's a really independent card here. I'll just get one more for that, and then we'll get a Pixie and Fairy card. So just one more with this very self-sufficient, very self-sufficient. Interesting. We get the Six of Cups. People returning from the past, this card can be about. There's no agenda with these offerings these children offer from their heart. There's no other agenda to it. I think this is sort of an underlying theme about this reading and realizing that, Geminis, now that's where you're at right now after a bit of trial. Let's get a Pixie and Fairy. Can you give us some insight into this reading? Give them a good shuffle. What can you give us? Oh, just flew out. All right. Wow. Sorry, Gemini. Oh, yeah, this is about you and your internal home. It's quite a Cancerian card. It's like green force. I mean, the green woman is a wonderful card of, we have our internal home here. We have our internal home. Nothing can stop us from growing. It's the basic nature of this card is the strength of that tiny little tree or plant or weed that pops up and manages to basically break through concrete. It's the force and need to continue to grow within ourselves, to evolve, and protecting it, and getting the right conditions for it to flourish. With that also, we have Lease of the Shadows. It's about breaking free from addictions and taking other people with us too, carrying others, facilitating that for others. It is really shining our light on what has appeared to be quite a dark space, whether that's in our own mind or in our lives. So this is pretty beautiful, Gemini, and I'll just get a journey map card. I'll just shuffle them a bit more, so I didn't before. Well, yeah, beautiful. We get fruition. Look, maybe we haven't seen the full results yet of this transformative period, because it has been and it continues to be as we enter a new zone. This is fruition. It's about, sometimes when you feel like, speaking of plants breaking through the ground, but sometimes you feel like you've not got any result from like a lot of stuff that you've worked away on, and what appears to be a non-appearance suddenly turns into something way bigger and way more important. And fruition is about that. We have it also with, we have also revelation, which is about an internal party. We actually start to see things from a different perspective. We start to smell a different quality of air in this card. And it indicates that if we relate it to, the chakra system, which is basic energy centers, that we've elevated our understanding up through those 7 stories, 7 floors. Of course, there's more than that, but it's a wonderful card of celebration, Gemini. It's a great achievement. On that note, thank you for joining me. Enjoy this beautiful full moon in Aquarius coming on the 23rd or 24th, wherever you happen to be in the world. Thanks so much. Take good care, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Gemini.